Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
If you're gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my friend. Welcome, and thank you for joining me for episode 295 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. I'm excited that you've chosen to come and spend some time with me today. If you haven't already read the headline for today's episode, it's a little bit interesting. It is hashtags are definitely not the answer anymore. And that is what we are diving into. We're diving into the changes that have happened over on Instagram today. Don't stress. I've got some answers for you, but I've also got some curiosity for you as well, for you to start thinking about when it comes to the way you're using Meta at the moment, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. But before we get into that, did you get a chance to listen to last week's episode? My guest was Tamara Simon, and she really helped us get back to some basics in business. And potentially, if you've been in business for a while, she gave us some things to think about those basic bricks. Or if you're just starting out, then definitely some things to consider as you build that amazing business that you are working on at the moment. She definitely had some gold in there. So if you haven't listened to episode 294 after today's episode, slip back there and have a listen to that. And I also wanted to talk about how I can help you in business, especially if this episode in particular brings up some things for you. Maybe you've been on social media for a while as a business owner and it's just not bringing home the bacon for you. Or maybe social media is the only social media that you actually do. Maybe it's the only marketing that you do, which sorry, that's a little bit scary. Or maybe you've been in this thing called small business, but you would seriously love someone, even though you've been in small business for a while, just to bounce some next step ideas off. Well, if any of that sounds like you, then book a discovery call with me and I'll see the best way that I can help you. Maybe we need a strategy session. Maybe you just need an hour of power. Maybe it's my self-paced transformation program that you should go through, or maybe it's coaching and mentoring. Wherever it is, let's have a chat, and that's the first place to start. You can book the chat by going to the show notes, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/295. You can go to my website and find it, or you can go to bit.ly/discover-with-Jen. And of course, Jen has two N's. I'm sure you can find that link somewhere if you are interested in booking a discovery call with me. Oh, and I just briefly wanted to tell you about my upcoming retreat that I'm doing with Jules Brooke as well. It's all about LinkedIn, which is actually my favorite social media platform. Although I talk about it more as a business tool than a social media platform. It's for 2 nights. It's in August. I'm hosting with Jules Brooke, and we do have some spaces available. If you want to learn more, go to bit.ly/LinkedIn retreat. I'd love you to come and have a bit of a look and see if that retreat is right for you. Okay, but let's get on to today's episode. Hashtags are definitely not the answer anymore. Now, I do want to caveat this episode by saying I am talking about Instagram, but I really want you to listen and watch for the lessons that I guess can be learnt for any social media platform, and especially other meta platforms as well, and potentially all your marketing. So even though I'm talking about Instagram, there are definitely some lessons and learnings for any of your social media that you might be doing, or social media marketing, I should say. So over the last few weeks, Instagram has dropped some pretty big bombshells on us as small business owners and content creators. And if I didn't want to click the non-sweary button on my podcast like I do every single week, I would use some pretty big expletive words to say what Instagram has done to us. I'm going to try and summarize it here for you the best I can, and also share with you perhaps how you can adjust your strategy to keep being found on Instagram and, of course, keep creating your community online as well. But first up, the title of this podcast was Hashtags are definitely not the answer anymore. Why aren't hashtags the answer anymore? Well, because of the bomb that Meta dropped on us. Hashtags actually haven't been much of a thing on Facebook. So this new feature relates more to Instagram than it relates to Facebook as such. But Instagram has given us AI search. So Ask Meta AI Anything is the title now that sits in our search bar. And it's encouraging us to ask it anything. And this, my friend, is why hashtags will die a very quick death once people start to get the hang of the new way to search on this platform. And the way we are going to get, and also by getting used to the way we search, that will actually change the way we do content as well. But that's probably an episode for later on, when we really get to learn as to what this AI bot that Meta has given us can actually do for us. Meta, in my humble opinion, is essentially turning into a Google. Ask it to find something and it will. It will find what you need out of the content on its platform, whatever platform you're asking, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. I can just say right here now, though, that I think the AI search function is weird, confusing, and very blah. But of course, we know that Meta just doesn't care. It's not shy about muscling in new features on us, the users, even if we complain a lot. I don't know how many of you listening might remember back to Reels, when Reels were odd, weird, and confusing as well. But eventually, the masses jumped on board, and we will too. Very big sigh coming from me. So the AI function seems weird, strange, and confusing right now, but we will get used to it like we have every other feature that they've thrown at us, or we will get off the platform and never look back. Either. 100% up to you, but maybe we should chat about it before you ditch all the platforms. So, why are hashtags about to die? Because they won't be necessary. In 2023 and earlier this year, you could be found on Instagram basically two ways. One way was in your headline, in your bio, whatever keywords you had in there, and the second way was the hashtags you used on your post. But having the AI Ask Me Anything feature, it's where it's going to look at everything. It's going to look at what we write in our captions. That everything we write in our captions is going to be searchable. Like everything we write on that platform is going to be searchable. And this is going to be a huge change for some people who use Instagram. Maybe it's going to be a huge change for you. So, what does it mean today for you as the business owner who uses Instagram for business? So, I've got a couple of points here. The first point is your captions need to be keyworded. So, not stacked with keywords, actually keyworded key phrases. When I talk about keywords, I'm actually talking about keywords, but also key phrases. So, we don't want to stack it like we did in the olden days with Google trying to keyword all our content, but think keywords. That post that you're creating, why are you creating it? For what purpose? Who's the reader? If they aren't following you, what would they search to find that content? That's the type of keywords that you need. So, for me, keywords for this episode could be hashtags are dying, how to use hashtags in 2024, all those sorts of things. So clearly keywords, key phrases, same inside my brain. So I hope that's not too confusing for you. The second thing I think you need to do is update your bio to ensure what it is that you want to be famous for is clear to the the AI bot, and also clear to your amazing followers and potential customers. Go to your bio. What do you want to be famous for? Is it clear? I would say My third point is don't stop using hashtags just yet, but maybe get better at them. Maybe use less, maybe use more, depending, of course, your starting point there. But make them work better for you. Do an audit of them. How do you do an audit? Well, you click on every single hashtag that you're using and seeing what type of content is under those hashtags. And is that relevant for you, for your content, for your audience? Have you got the hashtag right? And also look at their size. Like a hashtag with a billion posts is not likely to be a good hashtag for you as a small business owner. Do an audit of your hashtags. Think about your hashtags a little bit more strategically right now until, of course, we learn a little bit more about this AI Ask Me Anything bot that has appeared in our updates of our Instagram and Facebook. My fourth point here is to get your storytelling boots on now. So if you're the type of Instagrammer who writes 5 words in a post, then your days are numbered. You need to pull up your creative socks and you need to start your storytelling era on the gram today. You can't just write 5 words. The AI bot is not going to, it's not enough. They're not going to know what that post is about, it's stop thinking so much about the creative and think a little bit more about the storytelling. Start telling the story of the post that you're doing. We now need more than 5 words a post. Be consistent, be human, be recognizable as a brand, be recognizable as your message of that brand, and have a unique voice so you can stand out from the crowd. So, what I'm going to predict right now is that your photo, your visual element on Instagram has just slipped quite some way down the virtual what's important on Instagram ladder. Your words, just like on Google, have basically had an upgrade. Now that is going to be some of the most important content that you put out there on Instagram. Your words just got a makeover of importance when it comes to Instagram. So your visual element, even though still important, has slipped down the importance ladder. If this AI bot is going to give us content on what people are searching for, they're going to search for words, which I guess then brings me to the point of using your alternative tags, which are underneath. I'm just going to pause that and go and find the right word for. All right, the right word was advanced settings. So when you are putting a post up on Instagram, go under your advanced settings and making sure you're putting your alternative tags in there to explaining what it is, what the visual is. Again, keywords, just like you would on Google. This really is a watch this space time in Instagram land. And I'm sure I'll have lots more to talk about and say about these updates as we get a little bit more used to what this AI bot is capable of, how Meta is going to direct us to use this AI bot. It's a bit like ChatGPT in some ways. As we get better of asking more quality questions of it, it's going to give us more quality answers or search results. So we just need to get used to it, but making sure that you're thinking about your content now. In the value of words went up. In my opinion, the value of your photo and your visual element just went down. And just to really blow your mind just a little bit more in this podcast, something that got me super curious when I started to use this AI Ask Me Anything bot. And if you know me at all, I love a good curious theme in business life. So when I actually used the AI search function in Instagram and it gave crap answers, can I just tell you, gave totally crap answers. So it's got a long way to go, but I digress. At the very bottom of the answers it gave me, there was a symbol and a word that made my eyes nearly pop out of my head. It actually almost took my breath away. And that word and that symbol related to Bing. Yeah, Bing. So Meta AI Assistant is using Microsoft's Bing search results. Now, I shouldn't be surprised that Mark Zuckerberg was never going to give credit to Google and help Google grow its business. But yikes, Bing. How much energy as a small business owner do you give every 12 months to Bing? Like zero, right? We talk about Google Business Profile. If you haven't got your Bing profile or your Bing business profile set up, that's a bit of a task for you today, is to think about Bing a little bit more. So again, what does that mean? As a small business owner who I've just given a rather large migraine to, what does it mean if Meta AI is going to start using Bing? Well, I guess honestly at this stage, I don't know because it's so new. But what I can tell you is the difference between a Google search and a Bing search. So Bing relies more heavily on conventional methods of understanding content, such as keywords in the domain, page titles, metadata. It doesn't rank for mobile first indexing, and it does rank social media content more so than what Google does, which I guess then kind of shows why there's a partnership between them. If Bing is going to give more credit to social media content than what Google does, then it makes obvious sense as to why the AI bot would prefer Bing answers. Now, that's huge. I don't know if that is massive, because now we have to start thinking about our content in the way of Bing searches as well. And I do apologize for what I'm about to say, but I think the whole Bing versus Google is like an episode all of itself. So I don't think that I should dig really deep into what that means for you today, except to say those points above on how to use Instagram, they will also help you here with the whole Bing thing. So what were they? Captions are keyworded. Update your bio. Know what you want to be famous for. Think about your hashtags a little bit more strategically. Start telling stories. Be consistent. Be a human. Be a recognizable brand. Have a unique voice. If it's going to rank social media content higher, be better on social. Okay, so now I have your head spinning. I really do apologize for that. Maybe you need to listen to this episode a couple of times, but I wanted to talk about the second big thing that Instagram did to us this week. It announced significant changes on how it will rank content with a real focus on original content and increase distribution for small accounts. And that's us, isn't it? Small accounts. So yay for us. Instagram's Adam Masuri told us that they're going to downrank aggregated accounts, and those accounts who primarily repost other people's content without significant modification and attribution. And that is going to start from the US summer. So that's our winter. So a couple of months away before they really start downranking aggregated accounts. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we need more original content. AI has made Instagram cleverer. I didn't even know whether cleverer is a word, but it has made Instagram smarter. And now it can, apparently, track content to the original creator rather than everyone else who's sharing that same content. It will give more love, more algorithm to the original creator. Now, it's doing this as a business model because it's trying to get creators on the platform to earn money from being on the platform. So, if a creator has created something and people are earning money by sharing it, then that's not fair on the original creator. So, it kind of makes sense in some ways. And this is seemingly, and I say seemingly because I don't trust Meta as far as I can actually kick them, it's a good thing. It will stop people profiting from other people's content and go some way perhaps to all the copyright breaches that have been occurring on social media for years and years and years. So again, what does this mean for you, my dear friend, my amazing listener who has probably got a bit of a headache at the moment listening to all this? It means that you need to start creating your own content if you aren't already. For instance, if you're an accountant and you repost a lot of information from the Australian Tax Office or other governing bodies, your ranking now will start to go down if you don't significantly change it to make it more your own content. Or if you're a mortgage broker and due to lack of time, you are more likely to share things from the ATO, the Bureau of Statistics, banks, RBA, your rankings will go down. Or maybe if you're constantly sharing memes or your favorite quote of the week, your rankings are about to go down. And with no evidence whatsoever, I say this, but I also think that if you are going to Canva and using templates in there and not significantly changing them into your branding, your words, then these posts could possibly even get mixed up in the original content versus copied content as well. So if you want to share someone else's content, can you still do it? Absolutely. That's fine. But you need to be adding something to it to make it more original for you. Add stickers, put original captions over it, put voiceovers of it over it, something that makes it more you than them. So you've got to try and make it more original, that, you're just not, screenshotting and straight repost. These things are done. Come winter this year for Australian listeners, or summer for the US or the rest of the world, your content needs to be more than that. It needs to have you in it. So I know that's a lot. I do apologize in some ways. There's been some big changes for Instagrammers and some big changes potentially for your marketing social media strategy as well. And if you need some help, then it's time to maybe get in touch. Book a discovery call with me, bit.ly/discover with Jen. Go to my website, book one wherever you can. Maybe we need to work through this together. But the biggest takeaways from all these changes are really what things that I've been talking about for years and years. Build your community, not an audience. Think human to human marketing. Have a marketing strategy. Have a unique voice and know what your message is. Have a unique message. Be consistent with your marketing and show the heck up. Like the title and intro into this podcast actually says, marketing isn't easy, but it should be simple, or at least simpler. And those 6 points above in your business and in your marketing will set you apart from your competition, help you be found on social media and other places, and help, of course, to build your business. If after all of this you're like, Jen, screw Meta, I've had enough, then come to my LinkedIn retreat. Learn about LinkedIn as a business tool rather than a social media platform. Maybe LinkedIn is a place you need to start hanging out in. You can go to my website and find the link under the Work With Me tab for the retreat, or of course, it's in the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/295. But that's it for today. I hope that this one has been something that is really making you think about the way you use social media, the way you use Instagram, and of course, the content that you are creating. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway from today's chat is. Send me an email, a DM, jump into Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group and let me know in there. Of course, if you're not a member of that community yet, please come and join that community. Like-Minded Business Owners, just search for it on Facebook. But that's it for episode 295. If you love this episode, found it valuable, or think that you would love to give a headache to another small business owner who needs to know these changes, please share it with them. I would love for you to do that, or take a screenshot and share it on your socials and let me know what was your biggest takeaway. That would mean the world to me. Of course, I will see you next week for episode 296. If we aren't on social, come and find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. I don't know, just about everywhere you can find me on most social media platforms as Jen Donovan. But remember, whatever you do, remember, my small business peep, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.